How's it going, Patreons? Today we're going to be talking about the simulation theory of this world that we are experiencing. So what we need to understand is that we are mind, we are soul and mind. Now the soul is like the watcher; it's the all-seeing eye. So when you see the Masonic all-seeing eye, which I'll pull up right now so you can see, this is the soul. Because the all-seeing eye sees all things. It sees what the mind is thinking. It sees with the two eyes. It sees the whole of creation. It sees the five senses. You see what I'm trying to say? It's experiencing all things. And this soul is the watcher. It's the observer, the true self. The mind is the projector of the soul. The mind projects the watcher into different realities so the soul can see into these different worlds and experience these different worlds. For example, when you go to sleep, your mind projects itself out of this reality into alternative realities. So your soul is the all-seeing eye. And this soul and mind, this consciousness, they're both infused. This is the real entity behind the physical body. The reason why you have an ego is because the ego did not exist when you were born. You had a true self when you were born. It was pure love and happiness. And when you grow older in this body, in this material body, you gain an earthly personality, which is an ego, the body's personality, the one that wants to act cool, the one who wants to fit in with the crowd, because the body's the material self, what everyone sees. So it's putting on a front. But the true soul self inside, the one that little voice inside your head that's always saying the true thing, is the true self. And there needs to be a connection between the soul and the outer self. So there needs to be a strong soul and mind connection where the mind manifests whatever the soul says to kill the ego and to live without mental or energy blockages. Now, this soul and mind is inhabited inside of the chamber, in the temple. This, your skull is called the temple on the sides. When you get hit in the temple, the most weak point, this is the temple of the Holy Spirit. The temple is this empty chamber in the center of the brain, which you can see here. All things are leading back to this singular point. All things lead back to it because it's the true form. It is the entity that is controlling the physical body. Now, whatever the mind says, the body does, because the mind and soul is the sun, or the soul is the sun. And this soul is giving off light waves when it gives commands to the mind. And this light waves is what is getting decoded into electrical impulses in the brain, which is sent through the nervous system to control the physical body. So this is all we literally are, while the body is. It's being controlled by an electrical network called the central nervous system, symbolized as the Djed Pillar in Egypt, which is this here. Let me show you the Djed Pillar so you can understand some symbolism here. This is the Djed Pillar. This is the central nervous system, the spine and the brain. Now there's a better, here you see here. It is the central nervous system, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This is the tree of knowledge of good and evil because it gives your soul and mind the knowledge of good and evil in this reality. So this is the next point. The tree of knowledge of good and evil with Adam and Eve. Adam on the right, Eve on the left, male, female. She picks the forbidden fruit. We'll go over that. So here you can see the brain stem, the two hemispheres of the brain and the brain. The right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. The right hemisphere is the female, the left hemisphere is the male. I've done a video on the left and right hemispheres of the brain, and lower down on the Patreon. So check that out. It's a good video explaining what they do and how it controls your perception of reality. Very important. You need to understand the two hemispheres of the brain. So this is the spine, the trunk. This is the brain, and the serpent is the Kundalini energy. And what does it do? The serpent tempts, always tempts. Why does the serpent tempt you? It symbolizes the sexual energy of the central nervous system. It is the life force of the whole body, the sexual energy behind the serpent. So the serpent tempts because you always want to release your sexual energy. It's natural. It is a natural instinct to procreate, to create life. It is instinct. It's in our animal instinct to have sex. We are attracted to the opposite sex and gender to create life. This is needed in order for this for this simulation to carry on. So the animal nature, the bodily nature is creating. We are creators. And the serpent's always tempting to release your sexual energy, especially for you males. And this is why that we are so overly sexually stimulated in this day and age with free porn, the soft porn on TikTok and Instagram. You know, it's insane. They're sexually stimulating us because they understand how powerful this sexual energy is. Okay. Now, in the Bible, it says they cursed the serpent because they don't want you to find out the serpent symbolizes the Kundalini, the sexual energy. And when you hold this sexual energy, you can raise the sexual energy. And when all of that powerful energy that can create our other human being hits the pineal gland, it activates all the dormant brain cells in the brain. So when you're releasing your sexual energy, you are eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's a very acidic process when you release. It's acidic to the body when you release. You're killing a part of yourself every time you release. Okay? So this is eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It also symbolizes us incarnating into tree of knowledge of good and evil. We bit from the forbidden fruit, meaning we incarnated into the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So this is the brain, this is the spine, the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, male and female, and the serpent is the sexual energy. This is why the ancients always depicted God in the brain, because what is God? They mean God as in the true form, the mind and soul. We have no physical form. Our true self has no physical form. Okay? It is a formless, creative, powerful source or entity that is truly within us. And when we truly find this infinite cosmic entity within us that we truly are, we lose interest of the physical world. Now, this is located in the center of the brain, like I said earlier. This is why the ancient Christians were showing the brain stem. This is the brain stem. This is the brain. Here's God. Is the throne of God with the light. There's always light beams coming off it because it's the sun. It's a sun. It's its own source of energy. It does not need any other source. It feeds off itself. It powers itself. It's an eternal sun. The sun is eternal. The one you see in the sky, that will never die. They want you to believe it will or blow up or whatever. It will never, ever, ever die. It's eternal. And this sun is a microcosm inside of you, you will have a sun within you, which is your soul. The word soul is sun. The word soul means sun because we are the sun. And when you have a child, you have a little boy, you call it a son because it's a son. It's an eternal being incarnated in a mortal body. We are immortal beings in a mortal body. We never die. It's impossible. Here's God in the brain trying to touch Adam, the lower nature of man. He is relaxing. The higher nature is reaching, showing all you have to do is to move. All you have to do is to say yes. Adam, all he has to do is to move his hand to touch the higher self. You see, this is the brain as well, the different layers of the brain and the center, the sun in the center. So this mind and soul has incarnated into a simulation to experience this program, this game. We are in a game, people. And it's a game where there's just everything is eternal. Okay, everything's eternal. There is no past or future. It's just eternal now. Time doesn't exist, but time is an illusion because the mind and soul has incarnated into a world that tricks the mind and soul into seeing time, things changing, changing all the time, the day and night. But there is only an eternal now. That is it. Everything externally is part of the simulation we have incarnated into. Now, these are the 7 layers of heaven, the 7 planets. Here's the stars, the firmament. Here's God. This is the mind and soul. You have to descend through the seven layers of heaven, meaning the 7 realities. You have to descend because the word stars, the stars are the stairs, the stairway to heaven, the stars. And this is the ancient cosmology. They're showing you these 7 layers of heaven, and Earth is the heart of it. Earth is the middle point. And you incarnated, your mind and soul has projected itself into a simulation, which is exactly what they're going to be doing in the next 20 years with the Elon Musk and not Elon Musk, with all these virtual realities. That's what's going to happen, people. They're going to be projecting your mind. They're going to upload your mind into a simulation where you'll never die, and they'll feed off your energy in this world, just like in the Matrix. Go and watch the Matrix. So this is the true cosmology with the Earth in the center, and the firmament. This is la firmament for the firmament, the stars, the spheres of the stars. Here you see going into the box, into like this maze. This is all ancient art showing you. We entered the box into incarnation. What is the box? The 6 sides. The number of man is 6. We are 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, carbon, 666. Every cube has 6 sides, and we are everything inside of this creation has 6 sides: up, down, left, right, back, and forward. So this is where we get the idea of mazes from this cosmology, because we're in a maze and the mind and soul has to find its way out. Here's more depictions of the heart, the different layers, and God at the top. This is the true form, the form of just soul and mind. That is it. Soul and mind. Your true self is outside of these layers, these veils of reality, these different veils. Here you see ancient art showing the astral plane above the physical plane. The physical plane is the most dense. The highest plane is the mental plane, which is where we need to ascend back up to. Pure mind. Pure mind. This is the astral plane. So when you are astral projecting, because you leave the body, you're leaving Earth. You are leaving the Earth when you astral project, because this body is part of the Earth. It is projecting the Earth. This central nervous system, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, is running the program which your consciousness, which your soul and mind is experiencing. And when you leave the tree of knowledge of good and evil and project your mind projects itself outside into the astral plane, you're going beyond the firmament, the mind, the firmament. You're projecting yourself outside into the astral plane. The devil is the de-veil. The word devil has veil in it because the devil deveils you. De meaning less. When you degrade someone or destroy, you're deveiling because he deveils you, which is the root chakra. Each one of these chakras are a different world. There are portals within us which connect us to these different layers of the heavens, which are the 7 planets, the 7 chakras. Satan, you're getting out of the Satan's world once you go past Saturn to the stars. Now, we exist in all of these different realities. Your true form is existing right now. You switch into these different forms of yourself when you dream. When you dream, you're entering these different bodies, the different versions of yourself in these different versions of reality. We live in a multiverse. So the devil is de-veil, and the devil's always red because it's the root chakra, the lowest state of consciousness, the lowest world. He deveils you. You need to deveil yourself and return back to mind and soul. Go and read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. It talks about this, reaching back to your true form. And apparently in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, it talks about when you reach your true form, it talks about unlocking the star space. When you unlock the star space, you can travel all to these different worlds at your will and enter these different realities at your will. This is all these deities we call Buddha, Jesus. These were all these minds that had mastered the simulations, mastered all the worlds, and could just travel in between realities. So here's the sacred bird. They always depict the sacred bird. This is the Mayan cosmology, but the sacred bird leaving the earth. Is the bird in the I'm pretty sure this is in the Vatican, some ancient artwork. Is the bird leaving up through the tunnel. Here's the bird leaving the tree. This is the tree of all the different worlds, the cosmic tree. This is the gods. These are the gods outside of the simulation. Is the mind leaving the simulation, finally leaving the simulation to join the gods. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This is the mind leaving this simulation it's projected itself to. Here's the Mayan universe with the different tree. Here's a more symbology of the tree of life. Because it all symbolizes the tree of these different realities, this simulation. Just like when you're in a game. When you're in a game, you turn on your Xbox, which is Saturn. Saturn's the Xbox. You load the game, which is the Earth, and you play in that game. And when you play in that game, you're moving around as the avatar. You're controlling the avatar. And when you go back off the game, the avatar disappears. Just like when you go to sleep at night. Your mind is projecting itself into alternative realities. That's why the body is cabbaged when you sleep. There's nothing in it. You're still connected to it. But when you're asleep, you're unconscious. The mind is somewhere else projecting in a different universe. While the physical body regenerates itself. There is no unconscious. It's impossible to be unconscious because you are consciousness. Here's an ancient Aztec art, Mayan art. This is the stars of the heavens. This is the strings controlling the puppet. This is the heavens, your true form, your mind controlling the puppet in this reality. Just like you do in a game, controlling the puppet in that simulated game. So Saturn is the last sphere we travel through them until we reach just the mind and soul, until we have unlocked the star space, which the Emerald Tablets talks about. This is why here, X scape, this is the X as the cross. The cross is the unfolded cube, the cube of Saturn. Here's the rings of Saturn. Here's the stars, because his head is popping out, escape. This is the mind, the mind and head is popping out of Saturn. This is the stars. So he's escaped. The mind and soul has escaped this simulated reality. They're keeping you trapped here. The people in this simulation probably only exist in the simulation. If all of the mind and souls incarnated out of this simulation, the archons running this simulation wouldn't exist because we give power to the simulation. So this is why they're trapping as many mind and souls in this simulation to feed off the energy of the mind and soul, to feed off this energy, this archonic energy. They terrorize us, they make us, sacrifices and all this demonic stuff they're doing, wars and deaths. They're feeding off our energy, people, and they only exist in this simulation. This is what I think, anyways. So Saturn is the Lord of the Rings. He wears the crown, and once you reach Saturn, you gain the halo. Do you know the halo that ancients show you? When you wear a halo above your head? I'm sure you know. Symbolic for the mind reaching out of Saturn. You've gained out the Lord of the Rings is the ring of Saturn, the crown chakra. You're out of the simulation. You've reached enlightenment. You've reached the ultimate state. And now you can travel the multiverse. Here's the box. As I said earlier, Doctor Who goes in the box and time travels into different worlds and different realities. You're in the box. This is the box of Saturn, the GameCube. The GameCube of Saturn. And what else is the Sega Saturn? Here's Sega Saturn. It's a it's one of them, like an Xbox, because we're in the GameCube of Saturn. Here's the number of man. Cubes have 6 sides. Everything in this creation has 6 sides because everything's cubes.